Partizan Belgrade got their second straight win, second in a row at home, and apparently that's the best start in the EuroLeague, the best opening 3 games in the EuroLeague in the last 17 years. Shocking and stunning stat. I really didn't know that somebody is tracking 3-round start of the season. But anyways, important win for Partizan, 6-point win against Anadolu Efes. But I'll be honest, watching that game, watching the quality of that game, looking at the bigger picture, if you're Partizan, are you happy and satisfied and hopeful, knowing your long-term goals? Because, for instance, I read this introduction of one of the Mozart Sport articles, and it said that after 17 years, the Black and Whites have a positive balance after the opening 3 rounds. President Ostoja Mijailovic said that the goal is to place among the top 6. The players sometimes say that they feel they're ready for the Final Four. Competitors see Partizan in the finale of the just started competition. But is that Final Four basketball? Is that top 6 basketball? Is that top 6 potential that you see?
Let's start with good things.
Okay, let's be positive.
The offensive talent here on this team is off the charts, for sure. You have the core of last year's team. You have Carlik Jones running the show. You have Sterling Brown. Apart from that round 1 game that he had, then he was super solid in games 2 and 3. You have Isaac Bonga, who is playing great basketball. You have Jabari Parker, who is still adjusting to the team. You have Tyreek Jones for the lob threat.
Did you mention Shake Milton?
I haven't.
And Shake is averaging only 8 points.
I was about. Shake Milton is still figuring out things in Belgrade, but I think he has looked, pretty good offensively. He had his moments. You have Dwayne Washington in his second year. He got 4 fouls yesterday, but I think it should be a better second year for him. You have Dylan Osetkovsky as well, who's now playing at the 5th position, and he's giving little things that Partizan needs just at the 5 position. He did some great stuff yesterday offensively. So, and you have Marinkovic.
Are you going to mention the entire roster of Partizan or what?
Because everybody gives something to this Partizan team offensively.
I know.
I like offensively what I'm seeing. The problem is on the other side of the court, I think. And it was a problem last year. Right now, they don't have a center. A second defensive center. They have a center in Tyreek Jones, and Dylan Osetkovsky is playing the backup center. But they just lack focus, concentration. Their off-ball defense is, what kind of adjective I should use? Tragic, horrible. Because honestly, Partizan should have been up by like 15 points in the first quarter. Instead, they were up by only 7, 31-24. They allowed like 12 points just in off the ball defensive situations. Simple communication stuff. And I know some of the players on their team are not great off the ball defenders, but you gotta do better job communicating. So these were my 5 cents after yesterday's game, after watching that. I know you have something to add, so I'm leaving the floor to you right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that Partizan, it was a quite confident win by Partizan. I mean, I think that they were leading basically for almost the entire game, right? Yeah. So you should say that, Partizan got a confident victory. But my idea is that if the goals are so high, and let's be honest, Efes is not convincing team so far, the way they started the season, or especially the way they looked in Belgrade, because they have a lot of different problems, starting from the preseason and stuff. I mean, it should have been a bigger victory, and I just couldn't. You mentioned this thing about Partizan's defensive problems carried over from the last season, and I would extend this idea of Partizan defensive problems to defensive habits that they had last year. And the problem is that I see quite similar things in picture this year. And this picture was perfectly illustrated by the number of points Partizan allowed to Efes to score, I would say, for easy points, cheap points, something you couldn't afford at being a high level team. I checked their fouls in bonus, before bonus, in situations they could have controlled their defense by making smart fouls, or in situations where they made stupid fouls in non-ball situations, non-threatening to the basket situations, or just like making crazy plays. And I remember, I started watching the game from the third quarter, and I'm like, oh, this is a smart foul by Asatkowski. Oh, this is a good foul by Washington or Sterling Brown. I'm like, they learned something from this Dubai game the last time I watched Partizan, because that was horrible looks in Dubai, again, with the habits that they had. And then I think it was in the third quarter, they had like 6 consecutive situations where just fouling guys, 5 seconds later instead of stopping transition, or fouling guys when they're shooting 3-pointers, or just when you're in bonus. I mean, you're making foul after they get the defensive rebound and just trying to grab the ball, sending the guys to the free throw line. Shake Milton is somewhere. You watch the guy with the ball, and you hear the whistle, and the guy is fouling FS player when you're in bonus. I've counted 29 points that FS scored, these cheap points I've mentioned. It's let's say fairly small amount, 33% of the entire FS points that they had, 87. But we're talking about a high-scoring game that FS had. 29 points is huge, and they could easily reduce that number to at least 10. And I'm being very generous with that. At least 10, probably 5. And I didn't include those situations where, you try to contest the shots, there's not much you can do, you're just fouling the guy, and, it is what it is. No. We're talking about some really, really cheap points. And that's my issue, because they were giving away those points last season as well. In some games, they were tremendous defensively because, again, they have a great defensive potential, especially last season with a lot of bodies. But I'm watching the same core of the players, same bad habits. And if they have those big, huge goals to go far, even to skip the play-in, to make the playoffs, it's not a top 6 basketball yet. A lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah, it's early.
And offense can carry them very far. So only if you make some couple of tweaks, you might be a very solid team. But the picture is not changing. And I think that's something which should be worrying for the fans.
I agree, because as I mentioned in the first quarter, the last possession of the first quarter, FS have like 3 seconds to make a play, baseline out of bounds. There's one screen without the ball. There's an open Osmani under the rim. He makes an easy layup. There was just one screen basically. You don't communicate there. There's no one under the basket. Before that, Cordinier makes a 3-pointer in the first quarter from the motion play, where the guy from 45 cuts and the guy from the corner lifts up to his space. Partizan miscommunicates on that cut and who should be taking which guy. Do I stay with the cut or do I take the corner guy? And then we switch it this way. Cordinier makes a 3-pointer. Shane Larkin had some threes just because, Isaac Bongo was nearby him and just couldn't be quick enough to follow Larkin in those off-ball situations. So it's a good thing that FS actually did not play any defense whatsoever as well. Let's say it like this. Partizan needs a center, but Anadolu Efes needs 2 centers until Vincent Poirier returns, because Kai Jones it's early for him. He's just somewhere else. He's not on the court.
Lost.
He's lost until this moment on the court. Tyreek Jones and Partizan got a super early nice start, and they basically led for all the time throughout the game after they got this nice start, 13-4. Pick and roll defense. Then Tyreek Jones got a super easy 2 points in the post against Kai Jones. Some transition baskets for Partizan, for Sterling Brown.
Offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they had like 50, I think, in this game. And, Papagiannis as well, not really producing and showing great things. And after that, we just see Igor Kokoshkov rolling with Osmani and Roland Schmitz in the front court. And that's maybe not enough size, and you can't really play 2 4-man at both front court spots for a very long time. It is tough. So,
Vincent Poirier would change a lot of things on the lineup.
Absolutely.
He would cover all these holes that they had defensively. Because Kai Jones, I mean, again, it's a habits thing. He doesn't bring these habits from the NBA. He wasn't supposed to play, defensive rebounding and stuff, boxing out, making smart fouls. That's not the game he learned in those NBA years, and it will take time for him to adjust in Europe. I mean, his contract is non-guaranteed. I mean, FS might just cut him out in January, but still, it's a long way to him, although the potential is there for sure.
But let's just, it's just third round. So there's plenty of time to figure things out.
Coaches are being fired after 2 rounds, so it's not only just third round. But if you're smart, it's just the third round.
Yeah.
If you're rational, it's just the third round. That's the way it should be, actually.
Yeah, it's a different situation.
I remember watching Monaco game yesterday against Milan. By the way, a lot of controversial referee decisions. Make sure to go to check out on BasketNews.com. Todd Warnick made his game control column. And there was some unsportsmanlike foul call in this game that Todd Warnick analyzed as well in the end of the game. And Mike James is just giving this post-game interview and also saying it's a long way to go. We still have time. It's still very early. And then you switch from Milan to Belgrade. It's not that far, actually. You have this crazy situation. Head coach is fired. The new one is coming. It's still a lot of pressure. So we're different, and we're living in different time zones, in different worlds of EuroLeague basketball so far. But I mean, we kind of started from negative side. We have some concerns, but, the bar is set quite high, and we're trying to keep Partizan up to the highest bar. That was set not even by us, by the people inside the organization as well. So if you want to be that successful, and let's not forget, Partizan didn't make the playoffs for the 2 consecutive seasons. That's big. And the center, that's something that they need. Željko Obradović also addressed that in the press conference. I heard that when they kept Ntilikina for a lower salary, because it was Ntilikina's decision to stay, they saved money to bring a, let's say, better center. Because I actually heard that one of those centers that they were monitoring was Donatas Motiejunas, who ended up signing with Zvezda. But when Ntilikina, but that was, let's say, a cheaper option. Let's say you keep Ntilikina, but for a bigger salary, you don't have much money to spend for the center, so you might go for Donatas Motiejunas. The thing is that Ntilikina stayed for a lower salary. He was actually bought out by Olympiacos, which means even more money from the buyout as well. They have, let's say, bigger capacity for a better center. The problem is that there are no centers in the market. So they're waiting for the NBA training camp cuts. And the NBA season starts in October 22nd. So which means that I'm not sure if it's clearly the NBA target, but maybe Partizan is waiting for some dropouts and for some solid additions. But this is something that they definitely need. I saw that Željko said that they only need a big man, because there were rumors about Taron Armstrong, who actually ended up committing to Dubai. The thing is that I heard that Partizan and Taron Armstrong thing was not that close as it was reported on numerous media outlets. So Željko just confirmed that they want a big man.
They have a lot of depth in the backcourt, I think. A lot of options. A lot of options that need playing time and deserve playing time, in my eyes. So they need a big guy way more than they need something else.
If you agree, press like button, make sure to subscribe Basket News channel and put this notification mark not to miss NF or bonus clips, because we post a lot of stuff on our channel.